Okay, so go ahead and place your texture into the bat logo. Now to get this to fit the bat shape, I have to clip it into the bat shape. So if you guys hold down your Option key, it would be on the PC, it's going to be the Alt. And you see how I move between the two layers of the texture and the bat shape? And how I get that funny overlapping circles? If I click, it clips it into the shape of the bat. So now I have my 5 layers, and so now comes the fun part. I can actually go onto this bat shape, go down to the special effects and do a bevel and emboss, and scoot this over, and then I can make the size of the bevel big so you can see the bevel. I can make it a chisel hard bevel. See the difference in how it looks? Okay. I can do a gradient overlay and then reduce the opacity down to shade it a little bit. See how that looks? That looks kind of cool. Makes it look better, I think. It grays it out a little bit. And you can give it an inner glow if you want it to. Okay. Give it an outer glow if you want it to. And so you can run through a whole bunch of different filters on this.
Can
now,
you show us how to fit that
okay, so now I could change the color on this too, and then I'll answer your question. Okay. So you see the periwinkle color coming off of it? Okay, what was your question now?
Can you show us how to fit the can you start from the beginning?
No, not at this point. I'll redo it again, but I'm not going to start all over again.
It's what we're trying to do is we're trying to make the texture
Fit into the Batman.
Oh, okay, that part. All right. Yes, I can go back that part. Okay, so say okay on this. All right. You have to do a clipping mask. So let me see here. All right, so this is how it was. I just right-clicked on it to release it. You have your texture on top of your bat shape, right? Okay. You have to hold. Are you guys ready or no? Brian, you ready? Okay, you hold down the Option key and you move your finder, it's the hand, in between the two layers and click, and it clips it into the bat shape. Let me pause and come back there and help you, okay? Did you notice that all of these effects are now underneath the bat shape? Well, all the ones I put on. So what have I done? I've done an inner shadow. I've done an outer glow. See the little periwinkle haze right there? That's the outer glow. I made the color different so you could see it. I have a bevel and emboss, and I did a gradient overlay. Now I can turn the eyes off on these. Do you need help back there? Can you pay attention, please? Okay. If you need help, let me know. I can turn the visibility on and off. So here's the gradient overlay without it, and here it is with it. See how it tones it down? There's without the bevel and emboss. Outer glow or with the outer glow. Inner shadow or without the inner shadow. So you see how it makes it a little bit more dramatic? Okay, now I can also do the same thing on these, on the ovals, on the yellow oval. I'll just go in and get the bevel and emboss. Okay, I'll make the size bigger. I can't really see it right now. Let me see, chisel hard. Okay, yeah, I don't see it. Oh, it's because I had the eye off on it. Okay, but now you can see it. Whoa. Okay, so I can go back in. For some reason it did the other one. Let me do the inner bevel here. There we go. Now it's on the right shape. Okay, and I'll lower the size to see the bevel on the yellow one now. Okay, so maybe I'll make this one a little bit smaller. But you can see that it makes it a little more dimensional. I'll say okay. And then if I decided I'm going to do one on the black one also, I'll just click on that layer and go into Effects and go to Bevel and Emboss. And the only problem with the black one, I haven't turned the eye on it, so I'll turn the eyeball on. Then I'll go back into Bevel and Emboss and do this one as well. Okay, so it's a small one. There we go. Okay, I'll say OK. And then I'll turn the eyeball off on my template. And so there's the start on my logo. I haven't finished everything else out yet, though. Okay. I actually need to make a copy of my bat to make the shadow, because he doesn't have a shadow yet. I don't want you to do the drop shadow, because we're going to modify the shadow. So I can take this bat and go down here and drag it down to the new layer icon and make a copy of it. Okay. Once I did this, it removed the clipping mask, so I need to put the clipping mask back on. And then this one will be my bat shadow. I'm going to just change it to bat shadow.
How did you copy it?
I just drug it down to the new layer icon. And then I'm going to go ahead and take off all these effects. I'll lower the opacity a little bit on this. And let's see if I can move it.
Are we doing a drop down shadow or
No, you can't do that one because we have to modify it. Okay.
which shadow are we doing?
You just copy the bat shape. Okay? And I drug that down to the new layer icon, and then I turned off all the effects on it. So here's my bat shadow, and so now if I say Command T on that, I'm going to make it just a little bit bigger than the original. Okay, so you see my shadow now, it's bigger. And if I go back to the past palette, I'll hit return and then I'll fill it. Now you can see it. Can you see it now? I lowered the opacity on it in the layers palette. See, it's only at 58% opacity. I can make it a little bit darker. You guys see it better now? And then it has to touch the bat somewhere. Okay, so I can actually get my direct select tool and adjust it. Okay. Or better yet, what I might do, let me step that backward. Okay, as I'm just going to, does everyone get a copy of their bat? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to Command click on the bat and then Command T it. And then I can move it so it fits there. And then there's another little command in here, so I'll hit return on that. Under Edit, transform the path. Look at this one, it's on the perspective. Okay, so if I want to distort it more, like, you know how the shadow kind of flares out from an object? With the perspective, I can pull it out like this. Okay, so it distorts it out widthwise. See how that's working? Okay, and then hit return. Uh-oh, it doesn't look like it really did anything on that because I already had it filled. Okay. Okay, so this step on the bat, I'm going to pause this because it should actually have happened. All right, so it would have been better for me to draw, when I drew the path of my bat, to make a copy of it before I filled it and keep the one copy for the shadow. Because now we're having some problems with this, and the problem is I can distort it, but it's already filled, and so then the fill doesn't get adjusted. So let me step this backward. I'm going to go to the history palette, and here's my selection right there. Okay. All right. So now at this point, I've got my shadow selected. I can get my gradient tool, and it should go from black to transparent here on the gradient. And then I can practice dragging inside that selection to change the way the shadow is. And I think I'm going to hide that outer glow so you guys can see it a little bit better. Let's see here. Oh, it's not even filling now either, because it's got a fill in there already. Let's see. Okay, so that's not going to cooperate. We just need a blank path by itself with no fill. Okay, let's see if I just throw that one away altogether. All right, there we go. That's what we need, is a blank path like that. And so at this point, I will make a new layer. Okay, and let me see if I can fill this one now with the gradient. There we go. Okay, so do you notice I made a new layer? I threw away that all the fill and everything from that bat, and so now I made a new layer. I just clicked on the new layer icon, and then I used the gradient and I drug from the bottom of the bat's tail up to his ears, and you see how it's a really soft gradient now? If I say Command D, there's my shadow, and to get rid of the path I can just click down here and there's the shadow. So I can actually get the blur tool now and soften it even more. Here's the blur tool. And I can go in and blur this edge out a little bit up here at the top. And maybe this one a little bit too. Because I'm going to have it sharpest at the bottom. See how it's getting fuzzier? By the bat's tail. Now if I adjust it, you notice the fill doesn't follow it. So, but anyway, that's the shadow. And so now, wow, let's see how many layers do I have. I've got 6 actually at this point. Do you want me to run through it again?
Yeah, you lost me when you did the copy the Batman logo down
Yeah.
to a different layer. I was lost after that.
Yeah, you lost it.
Okay. All right, so let me just throw this layer away. Oops. Oh, I made a new layer. Let me throw that one in the trash. Okay, so I'm going to take this layer down to the trash. Oh, I'm a little tired this morning myself. Okay, so, all right. And I'll get rid of this. Okay, so here we have, this is what you guys probably have, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what we do is you command click on that bat shape, okay? And then you just make a new layer. And it's below my bat, which is okay on this part. And I'll say Command T. Whoop. Okay, it says the pixels are empty. Okay.
Does it have to be below the bat?
Yes, the shadow has to be below the bat. Okay, so now I can, oops, it's on the wrong layer though. It's Command T, the other one. Murphy's Law's here today. All right, so on this layer, I'm going to fill it with, I'm going to go to the Pass palette and I'll fill it with black. Not going to let me do that either. Let me stop this a minute. Okay, so let's see if it'll work now. I have it filled with black. I Command T it, and I can make it bigger. That works, okay? I will get the Direct Select tool, apply the transformation. I'll have to go back to the Pass palette now to make this a work path. Oh, that doesn't work. Okay. Once you fill it, you can't, if you change it, it doesn't really adjust it. So here's my here's my shadow. Okay. And then what you can do is if you want, you can lower the opacity down. Oops, I'm lowering it down on the wrong one. Hang on a second here. Okay, there we go. Lower it down on the shadow, and you see how it's lighter now? Okay. And then I can go back to paths and load this as a selection. And let me see if it lets me change the gradient in here. Nope. Once it's filled, that's it. Okay, so I have it bigger like this now, so I can go ahead and, if I don't like this, I can throw it away, but I still have the dash selection there. And this is what I did last time. I didn't like how it looked, so I threw it away, and then I said Command J, or you can actually make a new layer here. And then I can get the gradient tool, and on that new layer, fill the selection, and that works and makes it look a little bit more natural. Okay, so I'm going to pause this now. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and toss my shadow layer here. I still got my original bat, and I'll put a new layer in. Okay. And on this point, okay, I'm going to go ahead and get my, let's see, my gradient tool, and I'm going to fill it. And now once it's filled, I can say Command D, and now I can Command click on that. And now I can Command T this to make it bigger. So now you can see the shadow. I pulled it out from the back. So first I filled it using the gradient tool, fill the selection. And then I could deselect it, Command D. And then I went and Command clicked on the thumbnail and then resized it, Command T, so that I could pull it out from the bat shape. So do you understand that process? It's a multi-step process. Yes? No? Maybe so? Okay, now I'll say Command D, and it is done.